Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm just doing NWOpening number 64, 65, and it is the first where we are trying out this front-facing method with the NWOpenings, and I thought, what better thing to try it out with than the battered ass Dusty Rhodes from a few mail openings ago, which you can watch in the end screen if you have not seen already, just on the off chance things go incredibly awry. You know, it's not that much of a loss really, is it? I finally got my partial refund for this yesterday, so I can now actually open it, which is cool. After, you know, what has it been, 3 weeks now? And I kind of told him how to do it, and then didn't hear anything back for like a week. And then messaged him like, have you been able to do that yet? And he said, yeah, I've not been able to work out how. And I was like, alright, cool, well, I'm glad you just kind of left it and didn't message me again about it. But eventually I taught him how to do it by telling him to Google it. But the point is, we got there in the end. I got £2.50 back for this in the end, which I think was generous of me, considering the state of it. So this was about £6 altogether, meaning, you know, it is slightly cheaper than a Home Bargains one that isn't messed up like this. But, you know, £6 elite is a £6 elite. As an eBay seller myself, I can kind of empathise that the guy didn't want to lose too much money, or rather, you know, I was being nice. I was being nice at the end of the day, not asking for everything back for the state of this. But yeah, he did originally ask for me to send it back, and then changed his mind, and then I didn't want to open it just in case he changed his mind again. But yeah, so rest of the series, we've got Macho, which we've already opened on the series. We've got The Rock and Hogan, which I also would have taken, but they just haven't turned up in Home Bargains the way that the others have. And we've got the picture of Dusty on the back with that click and collect label not only on him, I mean, that must be a bit of paper because it's been taped over Dusty's head. It comes with Mean Gene's torso, of course, which is cool because currently with Mean Gene, we've got a Mean Gene head on a Rick Rude body, and as much as I'm not really that bothered, it'd be nice to get the bow tie on Mean Gene, you know. It's a little bit more Mean Gene than a regular tie, I guess. Not that he didn't wear a regular red tie. But yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I remember doing the unboxing for this wave, and where I got the Rick Rude from, and I'm not looking forward to trying to get the legs back out and then the legs into this new torso after how much effort it was to get them in there in the first place. But that's something we will just have to come to when we come to it. So yeah, Mean Gene there is ready to get his bow tie on. I'm ready to get this open. Luckily the head mold and everything is in good condition. Now I have once again sat down without getting a pair of scissors, but I don't think it really matters today. So we got the backing card. These won't really feature as much on the opening anymore now that I don't have anything to stand them up against, but that's not much of a loss. I've never really been able to decide whether they just made the shot look worse to begin with. Again, we don't need to be too careful with trying to get him out of the bubble because it's kind of already a little bit destroyed. In fact, it's literally it's smashed around there at Mean Gene's back. So we'll get the Mean Gene torso out. And we'll get this. Oh, that's really weird. Oh, that's... okay, that's terrible. We're going to get into that in a sec, what I've just discovered. That is terrible. Other people may have discovered it on their unboxings of this Dusty, I don't know. But, yep, we've got Dusty out. We've got an open grip. You know me, I like my open grips. We've got a pointing finger for the other hand. He's got an open grip on it already, actually. So that's cool. I mean, I do theoretically like these pointing fingers, but getting them out of the packaging is another whole nother thing. I've just dropped it twice. Especially if you want the fingers to not be bent, of course. And then we've got the fist hands as well. Just generic hands, no hand tattoos, no gloves, nothing like that. So the first thing that I notice is that his boots don't match, and I'll tell you for why. So as you can see here, on the insides, this part comes right down to the bottom. On the outsides, they do not. And I'll tell you exactly for why. It's because they're folded in. They've been folded into the boot. See that? It's been folded under. And on the outside as well, which is where you would want that. That must be a factory issue. As you can see, the boot, the toe is kind of misshapen from having that in there. So I am going to have to try and find something I can fish that out with. Not got anything. I haven't got any boot fishing materials with me. Wow, I'm so woefully unprepared, you know? I should have seen this coming. Alright. Okay, so with a thin piece of metal, I have been able to kind of push those out of the sides. They actually don't look as bad as I might have expected. That's kind of what an unbent version looks like, and that's what the bent version looks like. It's not too bad, it is slightly creased. The toe can now sit properly, although we've probably now loosened like the inside of the joint by having to fiddle around in there. At least he can now stand up and have his boots flat. I mean, that's terrible. I have no idea if that was like that to begin with, or whether that's just happened, but that is not a good boot joint. Very happy all of a sudden that we only paid £6 for this figure. That is, whatever the issue is there, whatever's caused that, that is terrible. Terrible factory work. Anyway, the figure itself is not bad. It's not the worst Dusty in the world. I don't think it's the best either. It's not my favourite Dusty Elite, but it's not my least favourite either. The face scan, again, you know me guys, I don't like my open mouth scans, even when it is a character like Dusty, and he is just kind of ridiculous, you know, he is so outlandish and everything. I think it suits him better. I've probably got more tolerance for something like that, but I just don't like open mouth scans. I think, you know, with the Dusty ones, you can kind of see what they've tried to do. This one is probably better than the Thanksgiving one, but yeah, I don't know. His finger's obviously bent from being in the packaging, as per. We've got the yellow and black polka dot shirt, differing from the black and yellow polka dots on his elbow pads, knee pads, and trunks, of course. Underneath the yellow shirt, let's get a look at them titties. We have a really dark, birthmark. But it's not as dark as the Thanksgiving one was when that was originally previewed. That looked atrocious. Now we've got quite a loose torso joint there, just noticing straight off the bat. So, yeah, I guess there's not really an awful lot to talk about. Those boots kind of suck in that kind of way. I guess there's not really an awful lot of details that we really need to talk about. So let's do a joint check. So the head is pretty well painted, so that's good. The head, I'd say it's just about average. It's just about the same with every kind of Mattel Elite head. Interesting to see what the shoulders are going to do. I had a lot of stiff shoulders lately, but these don't look bad. And that looks fine. That's very good. That's a very usable shoulder. And that one is too. Ah. 2 wing shoulders. Biceps fine. Elbow is nice and stiff, and that is the main upgrade this has for me over the other Dusties, is the double jointed elbow, of course. The wrist is quite nice for now. Biceps fine on the other arm. That elbow pad I really like because it's not actually restricting the elbow. You know, you can still articulate the elbow in the under part of the joint. But it's also very sturdy, and it's going to stay there. You know, in using like a Wade Barrett and stuff in my Fed, like pulling his elbow pads down for his bull hammer and everything. I mean, you know, I replaced the pads he came with, the long pads, which are just atrocious, with some of the basic pads where it's like 2 straps and they just fall down. So there's not really a win there, but this could be a thing. And the wrist obviously is stiff for now. The ab joint is not great, but I guess it can kind of hold a position. Yeah, it could be worse. Definitely could be better though. The waist is fine. That leg is very stiff. Don't want to overdo that. I mean, I guess that's probably about as far as Dusty probably stepped. Anyway, Knee, again, nice and stiff. Helped out by that knee pad, I'm sure. Nice stiff knee pad. I don't even know why I'm testing the boot cut, but boot cut's okay. And the toe does actually go up, so that's impressive. I suppose these are much bigger boots than most elites, so whereas they don't normally move, you know, these are much bigger ones, so you probably expect them to move, I suppose. And that one's maybe a little bit loose, but not too bad at all. So my initial reaction upon like these being in Home Bargains for so cheap, these and Vader, is to like look at using them for customs. Put a shirt on backwards. And the people I would be looking for doing is people like Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and stuff like that. But unfortunately, both Dusty and Vader are a bit too short to be Haystacks or Daddy. I mean, never mind Haystacks. He was like nearly a foot taller than Dusty and Vader. And also Trevor Murdoch as well. But obviously we have the birthmark to cover up as well. I don't really fancy that. There's one on eBay which is just really badly done. Like, it's just painted over it with a completely different tone of paint. No offense if that is your custom, but I wouldn't buy that. So I guess for an overall review of this figure, it's alright. I'm glad I paid £6 for it. I wouldn't pay more than the $6.99 really. Just for me personally, I'm not that interested. I did already have a Dusty, where I already had the Thanksgiving Dusty with the single jointed elbows. You know, I wasn't a massive fan of that figure. I definitely prefer the Elite 53, I want to say. The one with the title and the shades, the WCW one. Definitely prefer that. That's definitely my favourite Dusty Elite. But, you know, the head is okay as Dustys go. The outfit is ridiculous, but it's iconic, obviously. It's premium Dusty. And yeah, the boots, that's a major design flaw that, you know, comes on a figure where it's like, I mean, I'd rather it was on this figure than something else. But, you know, it doesn't really do anything to jazz the figure up. And the last thing I'm going to do is give Mean Gene his bow tie. So, first of all, we're going to behead him. And then, what's it called when you've got no arms or legs? I don't know. Pretty sure the arms weren't so bad getting in there to begin with. The good thing about the scale on these suits is, as you can see here, they're all scaled to the same. So although Mean Gene is going to be way too tall, he is going to be as tall as it would be if he was just made of Mean Gene parts. And maybe I was wrong. Maybe the shoulders were a little bit of a pain to get in. That one's like in, but it's not in, if you get what I mean. Try and pop this one in a bit better. I have no idea. I didn't feel a click or anything. I mean, the shoulders, they're in there, so they're staying in there until they come back out. You know, these things don't clip together the best. Now we'll see if we can unclip the legs at all. Like, I already regret doing this. I should have left this for another day. I mean, look at that. Just jacket sliding off now. And that's everything for this video. So if you enjoyed this, please do like, comment and subscribe. Check out the NW Openings playlist in the end screen. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.